I'm thrilled to be here and honored.
Don't speak straight into
Yes, I've lost my days as a calling baseball games. But so many of you are people I know and have met in different places over time. I was a member of this faculty for 43 years, which I'm sure a number of you can also claim a number that high. But because of my willingness to just sort of move from place to place on campus, not just immured in my office for 43 years, I just have met so many people. And it's great to see so many of you here because I see people from East Campus, I see people from West Campus, I see people from North Campus, I see people from everywhere on this campus. And it's just very touching and wonderful. I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk about something that's not really my field. I am a literary scholar. My books and articles have been on 18th century literature, a little bit 19th century literature, but I have a long history with the paintings we're going to be looking at today. I've probably been to London, one of my fortunate experiences. I've probably been to London something like 25 times. And I bet a lot of you have been to London a lot of times as well. And not the first time I went, but the second time I went in 1985, I made my first trip to the British Museum. And that's where I first saw the paintings that we're going to be talking about today. And the paintings in the National Gallery are, compared to this, quite small. They are 2.5 by 3. And so some of the fuzziness that I think will come through on the big screen here is because unfortunately we're not standing in the National Gallery in London looking at a picture, that's just like cut out of the middle of this. And so the paint, the detail with which these figures were created and formed like this are, all I can say is, if you haven't been to London, go. If you've been to London but not been to the National Gallery, go to see these pictures. I started to say in the flesh, which is not exactly correct, but nonetheless, I think they come alive in a way there. They burn with a certain kind of light intensity, L-I-G-H-T. And so I'll do the best I can today with the big picture. Let me tell you a little bit about the painter here, Hogarth. Date 1697 to 1794, so 67 years.
John, could you hold the microphone up closer?
I'll put it in my mouth if I have to. Yeah, I'm not used to these things. Anyway.
Well, there's no technology, since we retired.
Thank God. Anyway, 1697, 1754, his father was a Latin scholar who, this is so off track here, but it's just sort of makes me laugh every time I hear it. His father started a coffee shop for people to speak in Latin. And as you might imagine, it was not a success, even in 1754 in London. And so he ended up, this is the way of the law in the 18th century, he was put in prison because he lost so much money and he couldn't pay. He was in prison for 5 years. And this was Hogarth's father. Hogarth did not have a fancy education. He did not go to Cambridge or Oxford, he went to learn how to paint. And he had a couple of different artists who helped teach him. The first one ended up absconding with the money in their bank. So he had to find another place. But he started painting, and I need to say this at the outset because he was both a painter, but also someone who was very interested and very devoted to creating prints of the paintings that he had done, so that you could go and pay, and I think this is a correct figure, 125 pounds for this painting. But you could get an engraved copy of this painting for, as you can imagine, a tiny fraction of that. And so he was able, this is always something that interests people, he made a lot of money. And I think it's interesting to note that somebody who was such a fantastically talented artist could, even almost 300 years ago, make a lot of money doing the art that he was capable of doing. So what we're going to see here is something he wrote more or less in the middle of his career. Marriage a la mode, as the 6 paintings are called together. A kind of humorous title, because this is a sad story, as you will see. But his earlier multi-picture works, there was one involving a poor girl coming into London, another a rakish lad in London. Those were like 4 and 8. So again, these kind of these are not paintings, these are stories. These are things that have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and various incidents, ideas, pictures, characters in between. You can take these and read them like you would a book. And what I want to try to help us do here today is think about how this book and the 6 chapters that it has, how it works. So, Marriage a la mode. This is episode 1. As I said earlier, this is darker than I would like, but I'll try to show you some things. If you can see it, you've got these 3 figures. Yeah.
Could we get the lights dim?
I think that would be a great idea.
Thank you.
Where would that be?
It was before.
I have never been in this room before, so. That's dimming. Oh,
Wonderful.
oh, much better, much better.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a painting with 6 characters, 3 on this side, 3 on that side. 1 woman, 5 guys. See if you can, the picture right above the couple here. Anybody recognize what that is? It's very dim.
Is that the Medusa?
It is the Medusa. Bing, bing, bing. Just think about it if you've been married or are married or still married. There was a Medusa hanging over your wedding. It would be a bit of a, just a warning that maybe everything wasn't going to work out perfectly. So we've got the Medusa up there. We've got the to-be husband over here. And they're not very clear, but we have 2 sweet-looking dogs down here in this corner who are tied together with a chain. So another little picture of what marriage might be like. And as you can see, they're not particularly happy dogs. They're not running around licking people's feet. They're looking glumly away. Our soon-to-be husband, if you can see, he's got a snuff box in his hand. And I don't suppose anyone in this room still takes snuff. That's been gone a pretty long time. But 18th century, if you had, some class, snuff was inescapable. And so he's just being like a rich kid here. And you can see the lace, you can see, well, what you can't see very well is the frame that he's looking into. Anybody want to take a guess of what's inside that frame? A mirror. He is, of course, not interested in these other people. He's not interested in his future, his marriage, his, finances. He's interested in how beautiful he looks. And that's, now we move over. We have his not so blushing bride. And she's talking to a lawyer, and he will come to figure very prominently in the story. And you'll note that there's a kind of whispering going on there, which suggests, I would say, maybe something less than full openness in what they're talking about. That he is in some way flirting with her, and she's taking it in, but still profoundly depressed because she has to marry this guy. He is, as a lawyer, wearing his black robes and his little throat piece there, like the rich boy on the left. He's got a lot of fluff in his sleeves. He's got, you probably can't see it all that well, what he's got in his hand is, of course, a feather, which is how he writes. And we've got a few more pictures up here that don't show up very well at all. This is the father of the bride. He is not an upper class person, but he is a rich person. And so you notice, I love the image that we have here. He's got some glasses here. He's looking at this manuscript or book or writing. It just says marriage, and then I can't really read what goes beyond that. This picture here, and I've got more to this in a second, says mortgage. And so what we've got going on here is he is selling his daughter to this man's son, because this man, and I'll say, we'll get to him, needs money, because while being an aristocrat, he's broke. And this guy, not an aristocrat, but plenty of dough. And so this is an exchange going on here between somebody trying to rise in stature in the English society, and someone trying to maintain his foothold in that society. Yeah.
What do you make of the fact that the father's in the center of the picture?
I think that's a great question. When I was getting ready for this class today, I thought about why is it aligned in this way? Because in some ways he dominates because he's in the middle. He's wearing this brilliant red coat. And so, as we will see, in some ways he is a kind of fulcrum in the story, he's the one that makes this happen. And he's the one in the end who's going to have to live with the consequences of what he made happen. We'll see what that's like. Now here, the father, you may notice that he has a handicap.
Gout.
Anybody want to take a guess about what a wrapped up foot on
He's got
a
gout.
rich man in the 18th century means?
Gout.
Gout. And gout is not something we take on because we're healthy eaters or healthy drinkers. We are given to overloads of all of those things. And so he's got his gouty foot up on a stool. Can you see what's here?
Yeah, what is it?
It's-
Family tree.
Pardon me?
Family tree.
Family tree, exactly right. And so you have down here, poor knight with a sword and a shield who's got a tree growing out of his spot. And the tree has all of the branches that have ultimately led us to him and then to his daughter. In the background, you can dimly see the house he's trying to build, but has had to stop building because he's broke. And so the money he's getting will allow him to finish making that house. And there's so much going on here. The painting in the back is him as a young man. He looks British, daring, you know, like somebody who ought to be famous. And I love the gesture of the two fingers to his breastbone, and then the other finger pointing to the tree. It's like, this is me. This is where I come from. This is what I represent. Whereas this guy's just counting the money over. He's just counting. And so there's a way in which this is kind of a lead into the world we still live in, right? I mean, so many people so consumed with making their money not just buy them things, but make them famous, make them stand out, make them somebody that people are in awe of. And so we have this kind of, what would you call, imbalance here between the one who has the money but doesn't have the prestige, the one who has the prestige but not the money. And where is that going to take? What? We'll find out. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else.
What about the man between the two?
Oh. That's the guy, when you go in to buy a new house, and there's somebody selling and somebody buying, there's somebody in between, sort of making sure that everything comes out all right. He's in that position, as you'll see, he's not a handsome guy. His wig is not powdered. He's the in-between guy making the transaction work. And if it's a transaction, there has to be somebody in the middle, right? And so that's him. He looks kind of miserable, doesn't he? But anyway, let's go on to.
Can I ask you a question? real
Yeah,
quick?
sure.
It
I'm
looks like
moving
there's
to that.
another figure
Yeah.
holding a frame with his hand over it, looking out the window.
Oh, yeah. I've always wondered about that guy.
Does it look like the architect?
But why would the architect be inside rather than outside?
So we can see.
Yeah, he's so dim. And the whatever it is, the blueprint in front of him is so dim and vague, it's hard to say, but thanks for asking that question. Yeah, I mean, it's not a 6-person painting, it's a 7-person painting. And maybe what he's doing is thinking, finally, we're getting some money so I can finish building this thing. Okay. What are handkerchiefs in this room?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if I can figure out how to move to the next. Oh. Okay. This painting is shortly after the wedding. And again, there's so much to see. There's so much to talk about. Who's this guy over here who's leaving the room? Tolstoy?
He's saying goodbye.
He's not saying goodbye, I don't think. He's throwing his hands up.
Thank goodness.
Something that we've all done in moments of awesomeness, moments of, irritation. He's got money. Can you see what?
Invoices.
Invoices.
Invoices, exactly.
She's spending.
And he's got his book of, where the money is and who's got it and who owes what. And it's just like, give me a break. But I love the upturned eyes. I think that's a really powerful piece there because we've all rolled our eyes, right? We've all been in positions where, and yeah. What do we got here?
Music?
Music. Yeah.
I heard some mumbling out there.
Music's a book.
A what?
A musical
Music's
score.
A music book,
Yeah.
right. And what is this over here?
A knocked over chair.
Yeah,
So violin.
I think it's a violin. Yeah, I mean, again, the shade is such that it's a little tricky, but this is clearly, notes here. What does it make you think that the chair wherein the violin maybe was being played is tipped over on the floor?
Party's over.
What?
Party's over.
Party's over. Yeah, the party's over here, and or the party may have gotten a little out of hand in some way. There may have been some, who knows what, but it suggests a kind of lack of control. That things have gotten out of hand, probably the night before. And we can all imagine what could have gotten out of hand the night before. His job is to come in the morning and get the book straight. But it ain't gonna happen. We've got another book on the floor here. We've got another chair awry here. What do you think about the guy behind the chair back here?
Looks like he's yawning.
It certainly does.
I just woke up.
Which is again, more of that. How late were they up? What were they up to? There's stuff just lying around everywhere. Looks like, to me, it looks like what a pretty young kid's bedroom looks like in the morning. Stuff scattered around on the floor. I want to get to our two main characters here, because we've got, this painting has only 4 figures, one of them in the far background, and the other leaving the room. But first I want to look at the mantelpiece. What do you see in that skull, that statue on the mantelpiece? Anything strike you about that?
Not happy.
No, what's wrong with his nose?
Big nose.
Say that again, Chris?
No.
I would say it suggests that his nose has been broken off.
Hmm.
What would cause someone to lose part of their nose at this time?
Pox.
Pox, syphilis. There's going to be a lot more syphilis in these pictures. Yeah, one of the things that happens if you have been syphilitic for so long. We'll come back to more syphilis in a second. But what strikes you about the way the young bride and the young groom are looking here?
She looks like she's inebriated.
She looks like she may still be in her cups, yes, from the night before. She looks pretty jolly, right?
Post-coital too.
Possibly. Oh, not here.
No,
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, she has that kind of smug, satisfied look, doesn't she?
Mhm.
You know, she's not unhappy at this point.
and he's spent.
Yes. And what would you say about his pose? What does his pose say?
Exhausted.
Exhausted, yes.
Oh, no.
Can't quite fit on the chair. Can't quite get the butt all the way back to the back of the chair. And what's on the floor there? Just tossed aside.
Well, he had a saber and he took it off.
He had a saber and he took it off. Did he take it off in such a way as to suggest that he has some treasure, some investment in this piece of equipment, or is it just like?
Piece of equipment?
We'll get to that. That this is just a sign of, forgive me, just a kind of fuck it attitude. That, I had to wear it because, all the other guys were wearing their swords. And, but I don't treasure this thing. I don't take pride in this. I just flown down. And trying to see, all of these are so rich with detail. Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, I'm looking at and I'm not sure that's a statue, so much as, well, whatever. Behind it is the picture, and you have the Puto,
Right.
with a violin and a music book. And
And the
Right.
little seems to have some kind of helmet on, or
I can't quite see that. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
curly locks. But it's on the diagonal with the overturned chair and the music book and the violin.
yes, exactly.
Which
This
suggests that the man on the right is at least nominally her music master. There's a whole.
yeah, I think you're right about that. He's not showing his service,
It's only
but
Deo Grazia, only
yeah,
they get up to things.
yeah. That works, yeah.
I'm curious, the bride to be in the first picture, looks very unhappy as the negotiations are going on, and yet she looks elated here.
I have always been struck by that. What would you call it? That change, which makes me think, as we were saying earlier, maybe she's already found another boyfriend. Maybe her music master is more than just her music master. But it's that looking at her husband with you've got no idea what I've been up to look. A kind of, I'm the one who had fun last night. You're the one who had too much to drink and got in a fight and everything else. What do you notice, last thing on this slide, what do you notice about his neck? It's a little hard to see, but
Is it bare?
yeah,
Bare neck.
What's a,
This black spot.
it's a black spot.
Yeah.
In 1850-ish. What would a black spot on your neck mean? Yes, HIV, syphilis. And we're gonna see a lot more black dots before this is over. I mean, I think the middle of the 18th century was a time when syphilis was quite prevalent in England and was by no means to be seen mostly in the lower ranks. There was plenty of syphilis among the rich, and in part because the rich did whatever the hell they pleased, and if that meant running out with a woman who was not healthy, then so be it. And so, as I say, we're going to see a lot of those little black spots here. Any other comments on this? On this page, I mean, you know from the beginning that it's going downhill all the way, but this sort of reinforces that initial sense that this is not going to work out. This is going to be the one I've never quite figured out are the little statues on the mantelpiece. I mean, it's hard to tell what they represent. I mean,
Aren't they religious figures? They look like bishops or abbots or something.
Maybe chess pieces.
they could be seen as, but the two guys at either end seem to be standing with their fingers splayed out like that, which suggests some kind of problem to me. I don't know, that's just a point in my long reading of this. Okay, let's get to it. Okay,
Oh, now we got black spots. Yeah.
that's what?
Black spots.
Yes, now black spots galore. Interesting appearance of a skull here. Just a little reminder, I guess, to everybody what may lie ahead. This guy is what they would have called in the 18th century an apothecary. Not quite the same usage as we have today. It would be a kind of mixture of doctor, physician, seller of medicines, you name it. But this is a really weird picture here. I mean, he's got in his hands here, can you tell what he's holding on to there?
Pillbox?
I think it's a pillbox, yeah, and he's either that or snuff. But something probably not healthy. The woman here, what do you notice about her?
Bad syphilis.
She's got her own case of syphilis. And it's interesting to see these black spots showing up because everybody would have known what they meant, what they were hiding. And yet, I guess the problem is that if you have a separating sore on your face, you might want to cover it up just a little bit. And but what has she got in her hand? It's a little tricky to register. It's a knife, isn't it? Isn't she opening up a folding knife? That's how I see it anyway. you know, down the lower part, the lower curve is the case, and then the blade is what she's got her thumb on. And she's looking pretty angry. Now here's where I have trouble with this picture. If you read accounts, say, if you read the catalog of the National Museum in London, they will describe our squire here as being angry. Because he's holding out this box because he's saying, your pills don't work, or words to that effect, but he seems to be have such a smile on his face. And I've never quite been able to work that out. I mean, it may be just that he's trying to be polite, you know, as all of us in this room are polite. Please, could you help me with this? Chris, you look.
Yeah, I mean, he's not looking at the apothecary, he's looking at the young woman who's looking back at him. And I think he's groping.
That's woman, the younger woman.
Yes,
Yeah.
to my eyes, he's groping her. He's the devil may care, this is how he got syphilis in the first place. And
Well, that's an interesting take. I mean, he's got something in his hand
I
here.
think it's her bottom.
So there's a take.
That's a pillbox.
There's a take I haven't heard before.
He's holding
The pillbox.
yes, it's the mercury.
Ah, is that what it
Mercury
is?
pill.
Okay.
Yeah, again, I apologize that we don't have sharper images here, because I think you're right that it. I mean, we can see all 5 of his
The
fingers.
two- the
And
men
so I think
are
that
focused on each other, not on the apothecary.
probably means it's not feeling her up, but it's still, and then we've got this child over here. And you read some accounts of this painting and people say, well, that's his mistress. Doesn't she look like she's about 6? I mean, and certainly bad things happen to small children from over sexualized men, but there's something, and she, of course, has got the handkerchief up to her lip, which suggests that she too was syphilitic, which we'll come back to that point later on, can be an inherited problem. You can get syphilis from your parent if you're a newborn child. And so this has always been the frame that I find most difficult to unravel. Yeah.
So on the right side, upper right side, there's some rope and pulleys and that kind of thing.
Yes, the whole background. Also, the dead body in the closet there, or the skeleton, or some with what's always struck me about this is it looks like
It looks like a
kind of
theater setup, right?
a what?
A theater setup.
Yeah, a theater setup. That's a great way to
It's no
put it. And-
anatomy, it's how you hold a body to anatomize it.
It's a painting studio.
Oh,
She has a
like,
painting
you know.
there, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
And you can do interesting things with dried up parts of the human body, organs and so forth. To put in your.
yes, I heard that.
But if you were a painter, you might use that body as a model.
Yeah.
And the palette is right there on the lower right. And it looks like there's a painting behind that.
Yeah, it does. I mean, this is, what book is this? And the book has a picture in it,
It looks like a palette from there.
and it's on a chair, I guess. But it's got this ridge. I don't know. I mean, this whole area over here, I think we're looking out a window onto a street, but what is this thing that looks like it belongs on a ship over here? And we haven't talked about the image over the doorway. staring at us to scare us to death. And I guess what strikes me most about this is that it's a picture of a time in English history in which there is horrible, horrible, disgusting behavior and people and just things. I mean, where's she got that damn knife out? What's she gonna do? Is she gonna cut the girl? Is she gonna cut him? Is she gonna she's gonna run back there and pull out a dead body? I mean, it's
What's
just
the thought about what he's doing with his cane?
well, and that's a great. Is he gonna hit somebody? Is he just showing off that he's a rich gentleman with a walking stick? Is it, there's so, I mean, this is one of the things I love about these paintings is you can read them in so many different ways. Hogarth has an overarching trajectory for the way these stories go together, but the way in which they break down are full of like, what the hell's going on there? And yeah,
We never determined exactly what that black thing in the man's hand is, but
No,
could
we
it be,
didn't.
could it be this? He has the syphilitic spot on his neck. We pointed that out in the last painting.
right.
It's the same size. Did he give her syphilis? And she now really hates, she was looking at him with vehemence in her
Yeah.
eyes. Maybe the knife, she's tempted to kill this guy.
I think she is tempted to kill him. I mean, look at the look on her face. I mean, it is a face of profound anger. And whereas Stupido over here on the left side just looks kind of out of it. It's not.
So she looks like she is sort of suspended up in air. She's not standing on the floor. She's standing on a table or something.
Worried about that too. And my take on it is, and again, I think if we were to see it in sharper focus, it's the red skirt is over a bigger black skirt that is more length.
Yeah.
And so, because otherwise it's just an apron, yeah.
What is the hole, or is she? It almost looks like.
Every time I look at this picture,
Yeah.
I think, what in the hell is that? And why is it there? I mean, it looks like a place where you put a flag, right? But what I would say overall is that everything you see in this picture is menacing in some way. Everything is scary. The only thing that's not scary is his smile, which may be the scariest thing in the painting. Yeah.
He's a happy father with his darling daughter, but death is in the room, the skull on the table, the death figure is in almost the exact center of this.
Yes, and I think that's a brilliant point to make, is that what the painter is doing in all of these paintings is dividing things up so that we see everything in relation to other things. I mean, I think about him, but I think about the other great British painters of the 18th century. It's like, Old Boy Blue, a guy in a boy in a nice outfit in the woods with a dog by, a very, you see it whole, you understand. Whereas this is action. I mean, it's frozen in the sense that it's a painting on a piece of canvas. It can't move. But it forces us to move our eyes back and forth, up and down. What do I see? What have I missed? Oh my God, there's a skull over the door. And so you keep, I just love this about these paintings is every time you look at them, you see something you didn't see before. Because A, there's so many of them, and B, his use of light and dark is such that you have to find a way to see through the darkness, and see how things might add up. Okay, let's see. The next one is a little brighter, though not necessarily happier. Okay. The rich old guy is dead. The wife and her husband have now fully inherited the estate. They're living, as you can see, a life of enormous luxury. This is something you may have run into in other. I bet some of you have seen movies with a picture like this in it. But this is the morning boudoir. She is being fixed up by her servant, getting her curls. She's got on, not her full dress, but something between pajamas or a night dress and her daily dress. And we've got this guy here from frame number 1. And he's wearing much the same kind of costume. And he's smiling. And he's got a piece of paper here and is pointing to a picture over on the side there that you could probably barely see. But what he's really doing, if you see a clearer version of this, he's inviting her to a party. He's inviting her to a big kind of ball. And so she's looking smugly like, that sounds like a great idea. But my favorite thing in this picture, we're in the corner. And what boy is he playing with? What is that figure? Yeah, it's hard to see in this light. It's
Like the devil.
well, it's kind of like the devil, but it's also like an animal
Good antlers.
with antlers. And what do the antlers suggest?
Something priapic.
Your word of the day.
Was that a cobra image on the hat?
Say that again.
Is that a cobra image on the hat?
Oh, yeah, I don't think it's a real cobra, but I think it's a piece of silk that has been.
Feather?
Or maybe it's
an
an
Egyptian god. That's how they were.
I don't think. I have
it looks,
seen it.
yes.
Yeah, I don't remember.
No, you're exactly right. I never noticed that, but it is some kind of fabric that has been fashioned so that looks like there's a cobra on top. And so what we've got down here is we've got these horns, we've got a deer, and we've got a human. So we have a human with a antlered head. And
Cuckoldry?
cuckoldry, yes. He is trying to say, I know what's gonna happen here. and what I love, he's laughing. He says, I know what's gonna happen here. Can't fool me. They're being so noble and royals, all of them, so many famous people there. And he says, I know what this is. This is two people getting away with adultery. So this is this side of the screen, we have a painting up above which seems to be depicting sexual intercourse. I don't know if you see it that way. I mean, you can't see the man, but you certainly can see the woman. And we can see, I think, fairly clearly what's going on. So that's who's sort of watching over them. And then we've got this cornucopia of people over here chit-chatting at the morning get together. What would you say? Why has Hogarth given us this whole swath of people having their morning coffee? What's that there for?
Would it be normal?
Could it be,
Would it be normal to have a singer, he's looking at the thing, and a guy playing the flute behind him? Is that normal for breakfast and have coffee?
they're rich enough, yeah, you know, that this would, I mean, this is the things I've read about this talk about this being a very French kind of soiree here. And I think Chris would agree with that, that what you've got here are, look, you've got Tongs fixing her hair, you've got a black man delivering a cup of coffee or tea, you've got all these drinkers over here, you've got a eunuch over here singing. One would love to know what he was singing. And then you know, the cup here, the cup here. The guy with rollers always kind of makes me laugh. Yeah.
It looks like it's dark out too.
Uh,
I mean, why
That-
would
that's
the
a good-
artist
that's a-
part the,
I mean, if it's
That's a bed.
morning,
That's the bed.
oh, okay,
uh,
but it's so close to the wall there.
Yeah.
yeah, it's, you would think
It's
that
in an alcove.
Yeah.
even up there in the apothecary shop, there was a little daylight. And, but no, this, I guess I've always taken this to be dark because, you know, this is her private room. This is where she meets her guest. This is where she sees her friends. This is where she's. Sort of, what would you call
But
it?
it's also, you know, she owned slaves.
Yes.
There's a castrato singing for. There's the weird guy with.
Takes up half the frame. Yeah, I think because, you know, we see these two black people. And as you probably know, there were no so-called slaves in Great Britain, but of course, British people owned many, many slaves in the Caribbean and other sort of parts of the British Empire. So these black guys would be ones who had been brought back to the English shores to do this kind of work. And just a good question about the dark, yeah.
Does it have something to do with a commentary about the indifference of people to the behavior of the couple on the right?
I think that's a great point. Yeah, they're just, see, he's, you know, chatting away, Mr. I don't know what to call it, Mr. Funny Hair over here, you know, it looks like he's just sort of lost in thought. I love the woman in the middle. I mean, she's the dominant figure in the whole picture. And she's got her hands thrown out. And I mean, in some ways, it's a very normal kind of human expression. What do you think? You know, we've all done hand gestures like that. Yes, done.
Yeah, the woman in the middle, but her her facial features, does she has sort of a cover over her face, or you can hardly make out from Rhapsody? Yeah.
It's a great point. So, yes, I mean, what I see there, I see her lips and nose very clearly, but her eyes are kind of lost under the darkness of the hat. And you know, it's interesting. The hat, while the dress looks exorbitantly expensive, the hat looks like just, you know, a kind of country girl hat, you know, just straw ribboned. Meanwhile, she's being offered her cocoa or chocolate or coffee or tea, whatever. It can't be tea. They wouldn't handle tea that way. And I love the way she's migrating to this conversation and ignoring the servant. You know, she doesn't have to pay attention to the servant. She doesn't have to notice. She doesn't have to acknowledge. I think probably everybody in the room, if somebody was standing over their shoulder with a cup of something, would turn and say, "Why, thank you," or otherwise express some kind of thankfulness. And she's in another world, and I love the hand gesture because it's both, as I was saying earlier, a natural thing for people to do, but it also is a way of saying, "Stay away." Yeah, Kelly.
John, can she also be a singer? Singing along
Oh,
with the
I
construction.
like that idea.
I mean, that
I
weird.
haven't heard that
country.
he's singing and she's, because she doesn't seem to be paying attention to the men back there.
You know, counter music.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great take. Oh, yeah,
The picture up above, or that you mentioned earlier,
the sexual intercourse picture.
it might be Danae, who was seduced by Zeus in the shower of gold.
You know, that's a great idea. I think, you know, we can't really see who's.
Hide himself from his.
Yeah.
love for it.
Yeah, no, but I suspect that's exactly right. Zeus doing what Zeus liked to do. And, yeah, thank you. And then we've got the painting on the other side. There seem to be 3 women, again, the,
2 women and an old man.
oh, yeah, you're right, Chris. Yeah, he's the one on the left. And, okay, let's. This is one we couldn't find a way to get the painted image up, and this is actually easier to see what's going on. So this is number 5. This is the bedroom after the dance. The wife and the I'm trying to think of the right adjective here. The unlikable lawyer that she's come to this hotel room with. He's the one running away out the window. This is her husband who has been stabbed. You see one sword here. The guy running away has dropped it. Our husband is, you know, in his dying throes, and I would take it that this is stuck in the floor, but it's falling out of his hand. We have their masquerade gear over here, mask and other kinds of things you would wear to a party. And here we have the guy who owns the tavern where this is taking place, who heard what's going on upstairs. And then we have another guy who's like a sheriff or some other. And they're coming in to see what's going on and to make it right. This is, I mean, if you were to see this as a painting, again, it's a 2.5 by 3 painting. It's quite beautiful and quite easy to see who's where and what everybody's doing. This is one that if you show it in color, it's almost unseeable because it's so dark. And so you can see, obviously, this line here, the reflection of her nightgown.
What about the person calling out the window?
You can see that, but it's really hard to see. It's really hard to see in color. And again, I don't think that that's anything to do with our painter's genius. I think it's just that what he was able to do meticulously with a rather small canvas is something that just doesn't translate all that well to something larger like this, that you lose. I mean, look at, you can't count the pixels in there, but you can see that there are a lot of pixels in there. And that's just the price of translating. I wish I could put
In
this
the
all on
National
a
Gallery
plane and
picture.
fly to London, but
In the National Gallery picture, it's reversed.
yes, it is reversed. So that, no, you're exactly right, because this was one of the ones he did to make the
Engraving.
engravings that he was gonna sell. Yeah, and what bothers me about the painting version is that you really almost can't see these people coming in. I mean, again, if you were in London, looking at it from 2 feet distance, you could see very well what's going on. Yeah,
What do you make of the painting up on the wall behind?
well, it's funny because to me, I mean, obviously it's a woman, obviously she's wearing a long dress, but she has this kind of rakish hat. You know, again, a very small kind of hat that I don't quite understand. To be honest, I don't know why Hogarth would want to put that. She seems to have something in her hand, like a sword or, yeah, Becky.
Those figures above the door, to me, back here, it looks like 2 figures looking down like witnesses.
Yeah,
And that must be art as well, right?
right. So we've got the bed over here on the right. We've got what looks like another female painting over the door that the justices of the peace are coming in. And she looks almost like she's peering into the room, like she's an observer. Whereas the woman over between the windows here is looking away, but she's like, what's going on in my house here? But this is just another great example of how vivid and full of action these paintings are. We're not just sitting here watching people sitting there. We're watching action in all of these pictures. And
What is your interpretation of the, well, I guess there's 9 spots on the ceiling. Is that light coming through a tracery window?
I think it's light coming from being passed by the landscape project. You know, because what we see up there is what, 9, and that would probably have 9 little windows in it. I mean, that's just again, a guess. Hogarth did not leave us a detailed book explaining everything in all his pictures. So
But nothing was put in there by accident.
but nothing is put in there by accident. That's exactly right. And I think that's something we really have to take into account, is that none of this is slapdash. All of this is done as meticulously as possible.
So it's a reflection of something,
Yeah.
something
And-
allegorical.
It appears to be like on color, if I'm zooming in, it appears to be a reflection from that lantern. You can't see it up here very well, but at the top of the lantern, there are little holes.
Okay,
Those holes
that
are-
would explain it.
Huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
that would
good.
explain it. Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's go on to the final phase here. Okay. This is the ending. And you'll notice again, the chair on the floor. Hogarth seems to like putting furniture on the floor. But again, so much going on here. For the first time since the first panel, we have a canine.
Eating the food.
But he's not chained and he doesn't have a brother or sister, but he does. This is such a strange thing to be, for even a dog thing to be eating, but a pig's head, you know, is this what you would have for breakfast? So I'll take the ear, please, you know. And the look in his eye always grabs me, because it's like, nobody's taking this away from me. This ear and this head is mine. And we've got, it's hard to tell. I mean, this looks like it might be bread. This, I have no idea. Oh, this is a top to go on there. There's what looks like a butter or chili knife here. But the real action is taking place over here. I'm going to stop for a second at the middle section. Because if you look at, say, the National Gallery's discussion of these 6 paintings, they basically don't know what to say about it. Oh,
He can hear you.
okay. And it seems clear to me that the guy in the yellow coat is a servant. The guy with the wig is a lawyer. He's berating him, I take it, because he hasn't stopped the woman from drinking the poison that kills her. And so, as you can see, what he's doing is it's almost like he's punching him in the mouth.
Yeah,
And the servant is just looking like, I'm sorry, you know, I didn't know that was gonna happen. And, you know, looking sort of like an idiot. So what we've got over here, and this is the real denouement of the whole thing, we have, here's the vial of poison that she took. Here's a little message announcing that her boyfriend has been, her boyfriend has been hanged. The nurse is holding her child
with syphilis.
who already has syphilis
Yeah.
and who already was born with, you know, a bad leg on one side. There's some kind of, you know, device here to make up for what's missing. The child, you can see, looks hysterical, as well he or she might. And the woman by this point is dead. I mean, you look at the coloration of her skin. This is not someone in the last moments of life. This is someone who's gone. And what's her father? Old Mr. Redcoat. What's he up to?
Taking the ring back.
Making the ring.
Oh.
Now, there's something I didn't know before I started digging into all this. In England, in the 18th century, you could not take jewelry from a dead body, even if it was your family or spouse or whatever. So he's making sure he's got the damn ring before the cops or whoever get there. He's falling back on the kind of worldview that started him, you know, and so there is a kind of circular, because you may not remember this, but in the first image where she's leaning over talking to the guy who turns out to be dead and turning away from her husband, she's got a handkerchief and she has a ring right in the middle of the handkerchief. And so, I mean, Hogarth is so great about making sure that everything in each painting mirrors something that has come before and will come again. That he doesn't let anything. There's the old slogan I've always loved. Try to be one upon whom nothing is lost. And he is really, these paintings demonstrate a mind and an eye and a hand that miss nothing. Now, what to me is interesting too about this series of paintings that were among the first paintings put up in the British Museum when it was made, the British Museum in the 1830s. Some rich connection, I don't know that date, but this was not a popular set of paintings. Hogarth's earlier paintings, the poor girl coming in from the country, the rich guy, you know, being bad, the 4 and 8 paintings that he had made into prints. Thank you. I keep forgetting that word. Such a hard word. That those were at a sort of peak like this, and this was down here. I think did two things. It was offensive to the wealthy people because it called them out for being not interested in actually caring about other people. But it's just so frighteningly clear how awful these people are, just how awful they are. And I think, you know, that can be a hard thing to sell. You want to show something that'll make your skin crawl. You want to see something that will make you angry about human nature. You want to see something that will make you think twice about X, Y, and Z. And it has, Marriage à la Mode is now seen as Hogarth's greatest work. And he in turn is seen by most people who think about art as the greatest British artist of the 18th century. In part because he did a lot of paintings of individual or his children or whatever, you know. But he did so much work that was so narrative. And in that sense, I think he's wrapping himself in with what else was going on in the 18th century, which was the birth of the novel. And so I think that he sees in novelistic storytelling he sees things that he can turn into painting.